All right. Perfect. Okay. And Elaine Freeman, welcome, welcome. So if this is your first time in the round pen, I just want to talk quickly about this line, professional facilitators inspiring innovative ideas. The professional facilitators is not Jessica and I. We try to be professional, but the professional facilitators is each of you that are showing up, that are here, that, as Jess said, that are bearing with us and flexibility in the unknown moments. But the ones that put their hands up and get in the chat and bring forward your ideas that could help somebody else. Because that's what this work is. This work, it's not easy, but I always say it's the good work, right? And so if this is your first time here, thanks for showing up. And I hope we bring you some really big value. If you're coming back, then I hope that we can bring value, maybe like you haven't seen before. So let's find the advance button and let's get going. So quick housekeeping, meant to be interactive, use the chat, post as we go. If you're unsure on a question, throw it in there. If we can mute, because all of us have some sort of life going on, and yes, we are recording, it will go on to YouTube. And so you'll find us at Equine Entrepreneur on YouTube. Gonna skip over this for time. Just so you know, we are doing some giveaways today because fortune favors the brave, the bold, and the ones that show up. That's my biggest thing, is that we all have a lot of recordings we could watch in our life, and for sure, we're going to put recordings out. But you know what? It's the ones that actually show up that end up doing the work every single time, over and over. And so we are going to do a giveaway of our brand new program, Equine Insights, Embracing the Journey of Change. It's a 6-week program for transformation and change, which is you can literally implement today. It also has 10 ways to market beyond social media, and it also has a 15-day marketing plan that you can literally tailor to yourself and be building. So we're going to give that away. So if you're here, make sure your name has gone in the chat, whether it's now or whether it's along the way. Make sure your name gets into the chat, because that's how Jessica's going to put you on the spin and win wheel at the very end, and some lucky person's going to get the Equine Insights. But everybody is going to get something who showed up live. So how exciting. All right, so let's, without further ado, make this happen. So I'd love to know in the chat, how many of you already do group sessions? Group programs, it could be, it could just be a session, or it could be 6-week programs, 8-week programs, could be, weekend, whatever that is. I want to know who actually, who's already doing that. And yeah, this is what I was doing. Okay, Nancy's saying yes, Heart Retreat, Equine Entrepreneur of the Year. Sandy, she does. Some, I do a few, yes. Tracy, welcome, you're just starting. I love it, I love it. I have, but not currently. Support work as well. Great. And awesome. So it sounds like Ellie from the bush. Yes, I've done family sessions. Okay, great. Perfect. So some of you may not have, and some of you may have. And yeah, let's hope that in the next 45 minutes or so, we can, maybe empower you, as Lynn says, to do a bit more, or do them in a way that maybe is more authentic to you, which always creates more impact. Sorry. So Cheryl, don't worry, you're late. I was too. All right. I'm a life force person here, just getting started. Perfect. So let's get going. If you haven't already, if you can mute, let's talk about group sessions. So right off the bat, why a group program? So for those of you that are here and maybe do them, or are just hoping to, again in the chat, why do you want to do a group program? What is it about that is interest to you? Let's get that going in there. And it's not for everyone, but I'm assuming the people that showed up, it is for them. So why are you wanting to do a group program? So as that gets in there, I'll get going. Oh, I love that. And we heal in a supported community. That's a really interesting point that I'm going to chat about here. Building small support communities.
Sorry, I can't hear you. I'm on Zoom. I'll get off in a bit.
Okay, so somebody could mute iPhone too. There we go. Families working together. Perfect. Okay. All right. So financial stability for your facility. This is something that we don't hear many people talk about very often, the importance of financial stability for your facility. And this is something that I think a lot of horse facilitators struggle with. This piece of it costs a lot to run horses all year round, and everything that happens, and I love Deanna's saying profitability. And this can be something that equine entrepreneurs put last. Carrie Smith saying, yeah, what's that, right? Here's the thing. If your facility is not financially stable, how can we put ourselves in that position where we're fully confident to bring what we have to the world? When we don't know what the next step is, what the next move is, because we don't know if we can pay the next vet bill that comes in or the next feed bill that comes in or wherever that is. And it is so hard for equine entrepreneurs to put this on the forefront, but it has to be. If you don't have financial stability in your facility, how do you facilitate in the unknown moments? How do you truly stand in that place where you're fully in the present moment and you can grow and bring for your facility what is needed? And so a group program can be one of the quickest ways to financial stability. Why is that? Well, it's because of time. You know, it's because we all have 24 hours in a day, right? And how we use them gets built up so quickly, right? Don't you find that, you know, you can hit one knot at 9 a.m. in the morning, and the next thing you know, that knot becomes the next, and oh gosh, we don't even have time to, you know, run one client through. And so financial stability in your facility being so important, it can, you know, help to make that not one, where we can run 5 people through at a time or 10 people through at a time, or, you know, take a weekend and buy back time maybe for our family, et cetera, for the rest. So that can be a really good one. And if you have some other ideas, why else would you like to do a group program? Next up, impact. So I love that somebody else said that. Impact's an interesting one because a lot of people, when they're pricing a group program, they'll price it way less because they start to work out the end number. And they'll say, okay, so if I normally charge $150 an hour, but I have 10 people and I'm charging, I could charge maybe $30 and it would be $300 for an hour. And they start working on that as opposed to what is the transformation and result that the client gets in showing up for your group program. And I guess I'll be even bold enough to say it's, what's the word? It's almost conceited of us to believe that people get more out of a one-on-one than they do out of a group program. So what do I mean by that? A lot of times people will say, well, they're not getting one-on-one. So, you know, why would I charge the same, or why would I charge, you know, double per hour when I work out my numbers? Well, it's the impact, right? It's not about what we bring. In horse facilitated development, it's what the herd brings. It's the reflections that the horses, the gurus. If this is your first time here, you'll hear us say a lot, the horses are the gurus. We just get to be absolutely phenomenal contributors. And so, yes, we contribute to impact. But in a one-on-one session, the impact comes from the horses. But when we move to a group program, the impact goes up astronomical because, you know, we're bringing people of the same, of like mind, of like space in their life. And when they can come and not only get the reflection from the horse to learn, but also get the reflection and the learning pieces from all of the other participants, we can maximize impact. And when we maximize impact, we maximize tangible results. And isn't that what we're here for? I don't know about you guys, but I know I will always come back to somewhere when I see those tangible results that I'm looking for. So impact, super, super important, and why we'd run a group program. And the biggest one for me is the big B. Do any of you know in the chat what is the big B? I honestly think this is one of the most important reasons that we run group programs. And so you've probably heard me talk about this a lot. The big B is burnout. Breakthrough, that's a good one, Joanne. The big B, burnout. Burnout runs incredibly high. You know, vulnerable, how many of you, by the show of hands or in the chat, how many of you feel burnout often in this work? Interestingly, and I hear that a lot, is when we're aligned with the people we should be working with, the people we want to be working with, the people that we know we can be working with, we stay so far away from it. But when we're struggling along, when we're trying to find financial stability, when we're working one-on-ones, and I'm not knocking one-on-ones, this is just if you want to do a group program, it can be very hard to stay away from burnout. And so group programs can be a great way to do that, because not only can we raise, financially what we're charging per hour, or maybe leveraging, say, weekend trade-off to take a week off, whatever that might be, we can leverage the power of time, which keeps us away from burnout. So the other thing that's huge is we can provide collective healing. And someone, I think, said pretty much that when pulled off, we can create impact through shared experiences. Individual sessions simply can't. And so I love individual sessions, but I always know when a client's been too long in individual sessions, we can no longer create the impact, and it's time to move over to a group. So understanding your niche, and you're all going, oh my gosh. So we want to run groups. We want to get going. The first step in figuring out what your group program is going to be, how you're going to market that group program, is understanding your niche. So here's the thing. Interestingly, running a group program, running a successful facility, choosing to do horse facilitated development as your main piece in your life, it's all about you. And so many people, when they go to do a group program or they go to open a facility, they start with, what's the need in my community, or what's the need in my area, or this just happened on the news and I could help with that. Here's the problem with that is that in your wheelhouse? Is that something that you really know? Or are you trying to wedge your square peg into that round hole? And I see it all the time, the big thing on the news might be children in foster care, just picking something out of the news. And maybe that's all over the news and you think, I could help children in foster care. Very noble of you, very, very noble. But is that in your lane? Because we're here to provide impact. Horse facilitated development, in my opinion, changes lives like nothing else when we work in our lane, in our zone of genius, in our niche. And so to do a group program, it's really important to understand what is your niche, okay? And, it's about working with what you know. So even though there may be a need out there for foster children work, that's not my niche. And so, believing that if people all stepped into their own niche, somebody would pick that up, you can impact the people in the world that you know about, okay, that resonate with you. And people come because to you, they get attracted to you because you've been there, because you're one step ahead, because you're on the journey. I was talking to someone last week, and it was really funny because I give the example all the time. When I talk about one step ahead of where you just were, imagine for a moment, and this actually happened because I say this all the time, imagine that you were going to go to a relationship counselor, okay? And you're in the muck with your spouse, and you decide to go to a relationship counselor, and you get there, and that person has never been in a relationship in their life. And it becomes very evident as you get there that school textbook they're really good at, but they've never been in a relationship in their life. Do you feel that that's the best place for you and your spouse, or would you prefer to go to somebody who's one step ahead of where you just were, who's understood relationships, who's known what has worked and what hasn't, and has some conflict resolution that actually is experiential, as Sachel says, okay? And so quickly, where's your one step ahead? If you're thinking about a group program, you're excited, okay? Again, we're not trying to wedge our square peg in somebody else's hole because there's a need. I guarantee there's a need in this world for everything out there. So what is it? What do you bring, okay? And what is that piece for you, I want to know quick in the chat. I'm going to take that little piece off. And I'm trying not to rush because I was late, because I really want to take this moment. What is the thing for you? One that always stands out in my head, it was more of a Zone of Genius talk, but Kelly, who's on here, she said, I can make events really, really fun. And I don't think that was the wording. Excellent. Okay, so then nailing that down a little bit further. But what is yours? If you want to run a group program right now, like not trying to decide who those people are yet, what do you bring to the table, right? I'm really good at creating a safe space for men to be able to open up about what's going on in their life for them. I'm really good at that. And I'm one step ahead of that. Although you might say that is a really weird thing, Tamara, when you're a female to be one step ahead. I had 5 brothers. I knew the ins and outs. I've stayed very close. For me, that's one step ahead, and that's my comfort zone. And I love being there. Okay. So what is yours? Okay. So middle to high school youth, detention centers, empowering women, people connect for mutual support. Love it, Bev, pardon me. Chrissy, students with learning and emotional disabilities, 8 to 21. Chrissy, love that. Very specific, 8 to 21. So there's like 30 or 40 of you on, so I know there's way more. This is about being vulnerable, okay? This is where the growth happens. Ooh, Diane, eating disorders, hold space for vulnerable children. ASD is my specialty. Dealing with those who have PTSD experience loss, PTSD, trauma. Love it. You know what I love? Is it offering unpaid careers, the opportunity to find themselves, improve their self-esteem, generational traumas, school kids, women, entrepreneurs, LGBTQ, child loss, young single moms, EA recovery, confidence, social skills, first responders. Amazing. So you notice that everybody has their own. And I read many of those getting excited because I'm reading about, different pieces that are not in my niche. And it makes me smile to think how many of you it is in your niche. Reading and math phobias. Kelly, how cool is that? I just think, oh gosh, imagine having a child, maybe not even a child, maybe an adult with reading and math phobias, and that it feels that it holds them back in the world. Imagine having that connection to say, you should talk to my friend Kelly, So the beauty here is that they're all different, but each of them unique and needed in this world. And so just because you can doesn't mean you should. So that's the other piece about your niche when you decide to do a group, okay? I'm not going to go into it because it's way too long. I once did a group of children, not my niche, but I can. I'm actually good with children, and the parents loved it. Everybody loved it. We made $1,100 an hour for 11 kids. It was phenomenal. I hated every moment of it. That's the point of a niche. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. This is a very conscious decision that this is what you want to do. Okay, we have one go at this life, and I hope that you spend every moment doing things that you want to do. And there's so many unique and impactful pieces inside you, and the more that you understand your niche and go after, this is what I'm best teaching, this is my lane, the more impact and transformation you can create in the world. So now that we know what is our niche, who is your niche, okay? So again, I hope you have a pen and paper. Okay, so who? This is about understanding their journey. Okay, Sandy, I thought my niche was an inch deep and a mile wide until recently when I've decided I have a specialty and just narrowed my niche down even narrower. Yeah, Sandy, totally. So what she's talking about is I always say your niche should be 1 inch wide by a mile deep. Okay, being very, very clear. As an example, online, you can see, go to Instagram and look up bakers, and you have the bakers that do everything, and they're doing okay. Narrow it down. You can find people narrowed down to, I'm the best in the world at selling sourdough starter. Sourdough starter, people. You don't need to be the whole bakery. You need to be the sourdough starter. And you know why you do that? Because that's a marketing technique. It's about cutting through the noise. And in marketing, you either are the noise or you cut through the noise. Okay? How do you do that? You nail down your niche, 1 inch wide, like Sandy's talking about, by a mile deep, and then you figure out who your client is. So again, with a program hat on, so you're going, okay, I am amazing with addiction. That's where I should be working. I'm amazing with math phobia. That's where I should be working. I'm amazing with leadership skills, grief work, trauma work, veterans. I just like to work with people who want to move to the next step in their life, right? Whatever that is. So Jess is saying here, so understanding their journey, and I like how Jess put it. So what age are they? What experiences do they have in their life? What are their pain points? What are their desires? What are their goals? And what challenges can you and your herd, the gurus, help with? So you might not have these right now, but again, this is the homework. Before you do a group program, who is the niche client? Because we need to market through and cut through the noise to that niche client. So Jess is saying, if there was a busload of people who dropped you off at your facility who Who would you not hesitate to go out there and facilitate with, knowing and confidently? 100%. They said, I love working with men. I'm going to assume, I know there's a good number of you who, if a busload of men out of the prison showed up outside ready to go, I would be like, game on. I love it, right? But many of you would be like, I'm just going to go the other way. Like, I'm going to get on my horse and ride the hell out of here, right? And that's the important point. And so I love that analogy, Jess. So, you know, who is the person? Who is the person that you'd be so thrilled? So Juanita's saying, I'd be drawn to the domestic violence. I can see that from a mile away. That's the piece. It's that comfort zone. Because we talk all the time about working in the unknown moments. And that's what horse facilitation work is, unknown moments. We allow the herd to step up, be the gurus, reflect back, and oh shit, if we are not with a niche client and we are not within our niche, we panic. We get into our mind. We get out of the present. Our monkey mind hits. And the next thing you know, we're panicked. We're out. The horses are reflecting to us now, and we don't have a session anymore. Okay. So Deanna's saying, I would be drawn to the quiet person at the back. Lovely, as I'm yelling. Brenda, women feeling lost or out of place. I love it. There's a, you know, again, don't ever try to ram your niche into somebody else's interest. Okay. Don't ever try to ram your niche into somebody else's interest. Attract the ones that you can help within your lane. Okay. Those are at the end of themselves because of their addiction. Debbie, amazing. Absolutely amazing. And every single thing you guys put up is because there's a need in this world for it. And this is the time in horse facilitated development. I truly, truly believe that. So what's the common thread? Okay. When you think of the people, their experiences, you know, their pain points, their desires, their goals, what is that common thread? Are they all seeking sobriety? Are they all seeking calmness? Are they all seeking math skills? You know, what is it that they're all seeking so that when you pull the group together, it works? So super, super important of that. And so the importance of alignment, this is really important. So this is about sticking to your values. We all have different values. Okay. If you're not muted, if you could, I can just hear a few people. Sticking to your values. Running groups is so much easier when you come from a place of alignment, when you come from a place of values, that place where you know, who you are, what you do, and where you're going. And that never happens when you're out of alignment, and your marketing efforts will never land when you're fully out of alignment. So, Jess, I did notice your thing about 55. Just let me know when we're there. And I apologize, everyone. I have to find who needs to be muted because it's going to cause a problem. Sherry, mute you. Okay, so Michelle, if you could mute.
Yeah.
There we go. And Julie. Okay, let's hope that did it. So, yeah, I can't stress more the importance of alignment because everything in your world has to be aligned. Your niche client, you know, what you're doing for a program and who you're working with in that comfort zone, or you're really going to struggle with your marketing because people can feel a mile away when you're not aligned and feeling comfortable about the work that you're doing. All right. So, Sandy, when you have or have been, whether you are or have been in the trenches or experienced the journey they're on, there's a higher level of trust and alignment. Fully. People feel it. And I should back up. That idea of coaching, working with people one step ahead of where you just were, I want to be clear that one step ahead might be 30 years ago. You know, maybe you're working with teen moms and you're 50 and you were there one day and it's been 35 years. You're still one step ahead of that scared teen today. Okay. One step ahead doesn't mean you have it all figured out. One step ahead often feels like one step ahead and one foot on a banana peel. Okay. I'll be really honest about that. And that's okay. You know, it's that place of this is where I was. And now I have a few tools that I can maybe help other people. Everybody understand that? You've got your hand up. You know, does that feel like you've heard me talk about it before? Hopefully you're picking up some. So, all right. So we know why we want to do programs. We know what we're best at, okay? And you might not right now, but you're going to go back and do it. You now know who's your client, right? Who is the client that you're looking towards, working with? It's time to define your program, okay? So what's the focus, okay? Because again, it's really easy to get to this part and say, well, it's addiction work. And then all of a sudden it gets a little loose. Well, people who want transformation overall. And that's, oh, well, we could add some bereaved in there. Oh, and you see what I'm saying? If you try to be everything to everyone, you're going to end up being nothing to anyone. Okay? And I'll say that again. If you try to be everything to everyone, you can easily end up nothing to anyone. And that can be a really hard pill to swallow, you know? And, well, I mean, I would say it's kind of story, not sorry. It's like sometimes we have to hear that, right? And so what is the focus right now? If you're thinking about doing a group program, what's the focus, okay? And getting really clear. So, right, I love this, Debbie. Our focus is Christ-centered healing, specifically in addiction recovery. So that was great after kind of a little example I was doing there. So very specific, right? Can you see how for Debbie, she could be marketing through it's Christ-centered and it's addiction recovery. People either fit in that or they don't. And great marketing should attract the people that need what you have and possibly detract the people that it's not for. Okay. You know, and that's the only way we can show up. I mean, it's for myself. I always say, I mean, I show up as I am, and I'm going to push a lot of people out because of who I am, but the right people show up. Okay. And so, Bev, let's chat about this later, Bev, just because of time, but Bev struggles with the idea of charging people who have lost children. Yeah. So Bev, let's chat about that. Send me a message and you and I'll, you know, get together, and I'd love to just, you know, chat with that through together. So that's great. So defining your program. You can't market out something until you know your clients, you know yourself, and you define your group program. Okay? Perfect, Bev. That'll be great. So what type of program are you going to run? Okay? So if we go back to addiction healing or addiction recovery, because that was there, I would think, and I'm not sure who said that, it could be a lot of these things. But addiction recovery could probably narrow down quite a bit further, right? Emotional healing, personal growth, transformation. So if you're not on mute, let's get everybody muted. So I'm going to find Camille. Try to get everybody's mute. In the meantime, let's keep the chat going. What is your group program? Okay, there we go. So yeah, back to if it was addiction, it could be the emotional healing around addiction. It might be nothing to do with the addiction. If it's corporate, that's great. But then what is it? Is it leadership skills in corporate? Is it emotional growth in corporate? Because maybe you've got a group that needs some emotional growth. Is it, you know, again, narrow it down. What is your group program? So again, I'd love to know in the chat, if you were to run a group program, and again, start defining it right now, what is that for you? What would you like the person that, because you're going to have to market this program, what would you know, what is the group program? What are you hoping to teach? What are you hoping people are showing up for? What's the tangible results? Because people are coming for tangible results that people are hoping to get out of the program. And so, Chrissy, focusing on building self-esteem, self-confidence, self-regulation skills in youth with disabilities. Great. So I love that because I could see weekly, Chrissy, you could probably build something where 1 week is self-esteem, 1 week self-confidence, 1 week self-regulation, one, you know, and maybe it's a 3-week course, right? Or maybe there's some trust in there. Maybe there's trust when trust has been broken. But you can see when we can get very clear on what our focus is, we can then narrow down to what it is we're going to define and build. So then we can become very clear again on those weeks so we can build it out, or those hours, or whatever it's going to be. Okay, so confidence building for women. Love that, Dawn. Again, I would just suggests that you zoom in, right? And so what does it, confidence building in the areas of through this, those type of things, right? Okay, stable relationships. Great name, Nancy. You probably used that already. It's great. Becoming authentic. So form healthy relationships with others and oneself. Again, great, right? And so you could see a week being authentic. I can't say the word authentically you, right? Or healthy you, or relation. Again, you can start to see those weeks. Okay, is this making sense for everyone? I can't see too many people, but I hope it is. Okay, so next part. So you're starting to narrow it down. Nancy's saying yes. Thanks, Nancy. Your links, okay? So what are you going to run for your program? Okay, this is your group program. This is not my group program, okay? And interestingly, when you work within your niche, thanks, Bev and Sachelle, that's great. It's just good for me when I can't see you guys to know. This is your program. So when you work in your niche, it becomes easier and easier to be able to get clear on, okay, is this something I want to do weekly? And it's maybe a 6-week. Is this something I want to do monthly and do forever, right? I've done a few, but for anybody who likes to work with women, full moon fever, take it, have fun with it. Running on every single full moon, everything from horse work to being able to light fires at the end, really fun program. And again, I'm just giving you an idea and a name, run with it, really fun. But yeah, weekly, monthly, how many do you want to do? What's the content? Are you someone who really likes to use examples and reflective with the horses? Are you all about connection building? Some of you are the connectors of the world, and you're so good at that. Somebody actually just said about, women connecting with others and themselves, right? Is it skill focused? Okay, I know Lynn Mosley had a corporate background out in Pitt Meadows, British Columbia, one of the Equine Entrepreneur Award winners this year, and, does tons with corporate, but maybe not in the way that you would expect. Right? And so, taking team building to an entire different level. Are you skill focused? Are you in the, leadership through horsemanship group where love working with kids and taking skills off the ranch and helping them adapt them into real life? These ideas go on and on and on and on and on. What is your group program? Okay. And what's the outcomes? Really important to know your outcomes. So, and for myself, I should back that up. Maybe it's not important to you, but for me, when somebody leaves my ranch, one of my core values is, and when we talk about alignment, is tangible results. That's what we stand by. So when you leave our ranch, you're walking away with tangible results. Okay. And so what is those outcomes for yourself, for your facility? Okay. Those ones that you're committed to that place of, I will advertise that all day long because I'm committed to working in the unknown moments, allowing the herd to step up to the incredible gurus they are and becoming aware of those tangible pieces. We have our team broken out as follows. 2 facilitators focus on emotional healing with 15 and above. 2 facilitators focus on children and youth. We broke it out by each team member's passion. Do you think it's a good idea? Well, I love that place of, if you had said, do you think it's a good idea before you said we broke it out by each team member's passion, I'd say I'm a little nervous about that because that's kind of like being a kindergarten teacher and then being told, well, grade 10 math's your deal right now, right? But I love that, Melissa, that place of, and if there's choice in there, where people, they get a bit of choice of like, it's not what you think my niche is in my zone of genius, but this is where I'm best, and empowering those people to run with it. So yeah, I like it, Melissa. I think it's really good. Yeah, Lynn Mosley, it's about passion on fire. Don't worry, we're going to talk about that. So again, come back to this. Define your group program, okay? And don't look at everybody else's group programs in the world. Sure, you can get some inspiration. This is about your program, okay? So group sessions. This becomes the ultimate fear for people. What the heck am I going to do? I've told these people that I'm going to work in transformation and change. I've told them there's going to be tangible results. There's going to be some horses, and there's going to be 12 of them, and oh shit, they're at the gate. What am I going to do? Okay? So I'm not, many of you run programs. I'm going to give you an idea of what I do and hope that maybe some of that can help you with what you could do. But it is all about but it is all about for yourself, making it authentic for you. And so when I run a group program on the actual day, so I run an outline. I write down an outline of the actual program. Okay, so it's going to be 6 weeks, and maybe it's transformation and growth. So week one might be figuring out who the heck you are. Okay, week number 2 might be goals, dreams, and aspirations left behind. Week 3, and I'm just throwing things out, by the way. Week 3 might be healing they call it the witch's wound, healing the wound within, okay? Week 4 might be finding my new impact weeks. Again, so I'm just throwing things out, right? So I have a base idea. And then before that week, what are we doing for an hour? Again, this is just an idea, but again, you're going to need to do this for yourself. So welcome and intro, meet the herd. Jess, can you throw the meet the herd, please, in the chat? For those of you that haven't seen it, it's the base information of the 7 imperative steps that clients understand so that you can set them up for success in horse-facilitated development. So it's pieces, and Jess is going to put it in there, so it's a free download for everyone. Just make sure you get it out of the chat. Make sure I haven't lost Jess. Yeah, not quite. And so what are those steps? Vulnerability. Presence. These are the pieces where I'm actually explaining to the clients how horses work. Because when we set our clients up for success, because they understand how horses work, how the environment's going to work, why we work with horses, they can be in a place where they can view what's happening. They can judge what's happening for themselves. And judge can be a bad word, except for that we're not judging them. They're looking at, this is the reflections I'm seeing from the horses. When they understand that everything a horse does is for a reason, when you ask them questions, like I noticed when you were talking about your ex-mother-in-law, the horse put its butt in your face. Why is that? They don't say, because it's a horse and he turned around. They say, because that woman pisses me off and I'm so tired of being second to her in my life, or whatever. Again, I'm just throwing things out, right? And so when I do a group session, and I do any session, I start with going over those 7 imperative pieces for Meet the Herd. So I got to catch up with the chat to see if Jess got that in there. And if not, I'm going to pop it in the end. So that's starting place, okay? I do that every time, no matter what. I might get a little bit more casual on how I explain it. I might say, just a reminder, everybody, especially in a group, vulnerability is going to be it's paramount. It's the most important, especially when you're talking with a group of maybe corporate or somewhere that's not. Number 2, I will always bring up presence. I know you have a life behind. I know you're worried about picking the kids up from the bus. I know you're worried about this. Give yourself the gift of presence for the next hour. Everything a horse does is for a reason. Mirroring, matching, heart space. And again, grab it out of there. Jess has just put it in there. People love Meet the Herd because they start to understand why horse-facilitated development works, okay? Second, I always do, and again, this is not about what I do, but I strongly suggest some sort of a presence exercise. Why? Horses live almost solely, but primarily in the present. Without getting them into the place of presence, and honestly, the presence exercises are for myself as well, so that I can shake off the last session that I just had or whatever I was just doing, and I can bring myself to a place of presence so that I can be aware of. When I'm fully present, I can become aware at a much higher level what is going on with the horses and with the clients. From that place, I can start allowing the horses to step up, and I can trust myself, the horses, and the clients that we're going to find that place to tangible results. And so we do what's called Stickman. If you're new here, get into the round pen. Up top, it says files, the Stickman exercise is there, or just search it. There's a video in there, or whatever presence exercise that you love to do, okay? Just make sure that you do it, because I truly believe our job is to get present and mirror that unwaveringly to our clients. So often, horses don't show up. They are, don't show up, aren't participating, all these pieces, and people ask why. 99% of the time, it's you. Because we focus on what the client needs to do, and this is maximized in a group, and we get into fear. We get into, oh my God, can I do this? oh my gosh, there's 12 people here. What if I can't keep up with them? All of these pieces. And guess what? That fear doesn't happen in the present. Fear is past and future. And so in a session, when you're there going, oh gosh, I don't know if I can handle all these people, you've got to take yourself back to this step. And so it's going to take 20 minutes right there. Okay. So you're welcome an intro, stick man presence. Your first time will take longer. And then you need a main activity. Okay. So I literally will think if this week is all about boundaries, just throwing a word out there, I'm going to have connection. Okay. So let's say this week is about connection. Okay. Then I'm going to find some sort of a liberty activity. We call them tools because 9 times out of 10, I'll be honest, I'll start a tool, an exercise, and I'll think this is what we're going to do as a group. And then I stay present and I allow the horses to step up. I become aware of what's going on with all of the humans and I trust that it goes to where it needs to go. 9 times out of 10, whatever I chose for that main activity changes because it's not about me choosing. It's about where the session needs to go. And when this is the importance of niche, this is the importance of attracting and working with the right people. And this is also the importance of staying congruent and turning down the wrong people. The people who say, hey, here's my money, I want to come, but they're not the right people. So, sorry, just one sec. Jess has to go and she has to ask me something. Keep your role. Okay, thanks, Jess, that's fine. We'll just leave it. So if it was connection week, you're going to choose a few exercises, a few tools for your back pocket that emphasize the connection and transformation skills the participants seek, because that's what you advertise. The week 1 is connection, right? But understand this is about the unknown moments. Sandy's saying, I can't count how many times I have a tool set up, ready to go, and the horse is taken in a different direction. Absolutely. And that's the mark of an exceptional facilitator. But here's the thing. If you're all willing to get present, become aware. When you're present, you become so bloody aware of what's going on. You'll start to understand things about the session you never would have understood if you were out of the present trying to read it. When you become that aware, you can allow the horses to bring forth the piece that they're there for. That's why we work with horses. Otherwise, you know what? Dogs are very therapeutic. We have sheep. They're really therapeutic, actually. But they don't reflect the piece that's going on, congruence or incongruence in the human. So set your main activity. If you're going, I don't have any activities. Many of you are certified. There's some activities there. If you're in the round pen, Google exercises or tools. There's activities there. If you're in the herd, which has just been changed to the Round Pen Plus, there's hundreds of activities in there. Grab 1 or 2, write it on a piece of paper, put it in your back pocket along with some tools. Put it in your back pocket with some chalk pens. Put out some pylons, whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable. I now run 95% of my sessions with a chalk pen in my back pocket. That's it. Because I know it's about the horses and the direction that they feel from the group. So set the intention. Again, the intention here is connection. Okay? So welcome 10 minutes, get present 10 minutes. You're going to run 20 to 30 minutes at your main activity. And here's where the magic happens. Always, always, always in the debrief. Don't rush the debrief. If you need an hour for the session, give it a 15-minute debrief. Give it a half an hour debrief. Where awareness meets tangible results in the debrief every single time. Why? Because it's not about you. And so we go to sessions, we watch what happens, we judge what happens, we tell other people what happened. You know what's interesting? 9.9 times out of 10, the client, the person that was in there, the person that was feeling the results, mirroring the results, working with their own congruence and vulnerabilities, would tell you something different happened. And are they right? You betcha they are. It's not about what happened to them, it's about how it made them feel. That's perfect, Jess. That's all I need. If you have a last name, just put it in there for me. Yeah, so it's not about what happened to them. It's about how it made them feel. And so don't rush the debrief. Most people will tell you their favorite part, aside from the actual horse-human connection, was that space in a group to be able to debrief, to be able to get an awareness, to have that mind-blowing piece of like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I allowed this thing that happened to me in grade 4 hold me back for my entire life. Boom. Pretty incredible, isn't it? And so it's the 4 pillars like never before. So if you don't know what the 4 pillars are, again, in the round pen, Google up the 4 pillars. It's in there. You'll see it a lot. And actually in the Meet the Herd that Jessica put the link up for before, we talk about the 4 pillars all the time. So I'm going to take a quick break here. Does anybody have any questions about this? Because this is where so many people get stuck of like, how do I book the day? And this is just an idea of a day. If you do 2 days in a row, you could do this in the morning, take a lunch break. We do a lot of groups and we just feed them. At the lunch break, if it's summertime, they get chicken Caesar, hot chicken Caesar, I guess. My husband makes ahead of time, leaves it, I throw it out. If it's the wintertime, they get chili. It's super, super easy. I do this format in the morning. In the afternoon, I do the same format. I just remind them about Meet the Herd. I just remind them about presence. I just remind them about congruence and that everything that a horse does is for a reason, and presence and nonverbal communication. And then we do the exact same thing. And if I'm running a 2-day course, I do this 4 times, okay? Keep it simple. Allow the herd to step up to be the gurus that they are. Any other questions before I move on to marketing? Yeah, John, really important that you have the time ahead. So I'm giving you a format for an hour. If you know you're running over, it's important to look at that. And is there time wasting in your time that you're going over? Or have you not given yourself enough time? And I'll give you a secret about people. If you tell people, and today is a bad example because I started late, so it's a really bad example. But if you tell people it's going to be 1 hour and you finish at 55 minutes, they'll stay for another 20 minutes and ask you questions and debrief and love it and think they had a great experience. If you go over because you're not managing your time or like me didn't have volume, at that 1 hour mark, people are going to drop off and they're going to drop off. And it doesn't matter how much value you brought because you're not respecting their time. Okay. So Dawn, for you, I would just look at it and find out, are you wasting time? Are you not getting to the point quick enough when the horses start showing you, like this is what's going on? Are you giving them too much time and not jumping into that? Or do you need to just make your session or your group session an hour and a half instead of 60 minutes? Okay, so set the people up with expectations. How many people do you have in groups? Completely depends on your help. I'll run a group of 5 on my own. Over that, I need a wrangler. And I don't really run more than about 10 or 12 people. And again, it depends on the group. If we're going into deep, it's a very deep focused group. You know, I'm probably going to run 10, something like that. So it depends on your help, depends on your herd. Stewarding your herd in a group is super, super important. And oftentimes I'll have 1 or 2 wranglers that are just watching the herd, not for safety, but to make sure that the herd is always working in choice. Okay, that they don't end up, because I haven't seen them and they're, you know, getting, and I work at Liberty, but they're not getting cornered or something like that. Okay, so really important. Okay, speaking of time, we better get on to marketing. So really important. So now, can you see as we walk down the journey, we had to start with you, because if we start with marketing, which so many people do, it's the wrong end of the spectrum, okay? We're talking about marketing when you don't know who you are. We're talking about marketing when we don't know what you have to bring to the table. And we're talking about marketing when we don't know who your ideal client is, okay? So now it's really important to create a message that speaks to your audience, okay? And your audience is your niche. And so you know your niche and you know your audience. Why? How? You're one step ahead. You were there. What were your pain points? What were your tools that you wish you had? What have your horses healed in you that you know they can heal in someone else? That's why we're all here. We all experience the magic of the horse-human connection at some point and wished that that was in our life ahead of time. So it's really important, this step, to create that message, okay? It's so, so important that you don't only create that message that speaks to them, but what's the transformation? What they're coming for? What's the skill they're going to learn? Seychelles saying inner strength. What's the skill they're going to learn? What's the growth they're going to have? What's the confidence they're going to find? What is the peace? Because without this, you're just talking noise. You're just somewhere else. And the reality is, why not just go get horseback riding lessons? That's what they're thinking, okay? I mean, I understand that we're talking two totally different things, but they don't until we create a message that speaks to our niche, okay? You are your niche, okay? Start writing it down. Who are those people? So I'm going to give you some examples. So let's just say it was for leadership. Unlock the leader within through the power of the horse-human connection. I want to be honest too, this is not about you following a script. This is about you figuring out what it is for you. So take out Equine Insights. Our Equine Insights program provides a unique hands-on experience where participants develop core leadership skills. So in the first line, we're talking hands-on, we're talking unique, we're talking core leadership skills, such as, so we're going further, trust, self-awareness, communication. So now off the bat, we're going, okay, we have unique, hands-on, leadership skills broken right down to trust, self-awareness, communication. So I either am looking for that or I'm not. And that's the beauty of being clear. By partnering with horses, okay, we have horses. You'll learn how to lead with authenticity and confidence. If you don't want to lead with authenticity and confidence, it's not for you. Perfect. A great marketing message should attract the right ones, and dispel the wrong ones, okay? Skills that will transform the way you lead your team and navigate challenges in your professional life, okay? This is clearly to a leadership professional, right? Who is concerned about their professional life, concerned about their leadership skills, maybe doesn't feel like their communication skills are that good, you know, very, very clear. So if you're not interested in leadership skills for corporate, for example, or professional, you're reading this and it's like, it's good words, it does not speak to me. I'd be curious, someone like Lynn, who I know does work closer into this. Lynn, does this speak to you a little bit? Love to know if you're there in the chat. Let's get some more. So transformation and growth. Many of you work with transformation and growth. So let's get a tangible one then. Okay, so are you ready to embrace the journey of personal transformation? The Equine Insights, and again, you have your own program name, is designed for those seeking growth, clarity, and the courage to step into the unknown. Ooh, okay, we're talking transformation, growth, clarity, courage to step into the unknown. If I'm not looking for any of that, I'm not even going to read this, right? With horses as your guide, you'll uncover hidden insights, release old patterns. Ooh, that's a big one, because I am tired of dating the same person over and over again, or spending all my money over and over again, whatever that is, right? Discover new paths forward. Experience the power of growth through self-awareness and trust as you embark on a journey that will open new doors and possibilities. Okay, so if I'm stuck in my life, I'm looking for new possibilities, you know, but I'm not into the self-awareness. If it's like, that's just voodoo and I ain't doing self-awareness, I'm not coming. Great, because guess what? That person's going to be the biggest thorn in your side when they want nothing to do with self-awareness, and that's what your course is about, okay? So it's about nailing what you and your herd is providing. Lynn, okay, great. We focus on transformational growth through a conscious leadership lens. Ooh, I love that, conscious leadership lens. And I think that's an interesting one because it's different. It's not your typical course. So Sandy, perfect. So again, these are ideas. This is not meant to be, you know, and whatever, steal what you want, use what you want, but make sure it's authentically you. Let's do one more, Grief. Navigate the journey of healing with the gentle guidance of horses. And I like that gentle piece. Equine Insights program offers a compassionate space for those grieving a loss, providing a unique opportunity to process emotions and find peace. Again, if I'm not ready to process emotions, might be a turnoff. Perfect. Through interactions with horses, natural healers who mirror our emotions as we are showing up currently in our environment. So again, talking a little bit about how horses are going to work. You'll discover how to let go, embrace presence, and begin the journey towards healing. Experience a safe, supportive environment where your grief is honored and healing can unfold naturally. Again, it's going to turn the right people on and say, you know what, that's what I'm ready for. And other people say, that sounds like way too much pressure for where I'm at, okay? So really, really important before you start, and it's not that you are going to use this exact wording for every bit of advertising you do. It's that there's pieces in here If we look at the pieces of this one, journey of healing, processing emotions, finding peace, horses as natural healers, letting go, embracing presence, beginning a journey, safe environment, supportive environment, honoring grief. There's a whole bunch of pieces you can pull out for a whole bunch of marketing. Okay, so get your, this is kind of like your mission statement. This is your overall marketing. This is what encapsulates our program. So what is it following on the screen? And I'd love to know in here, the first one didn't even show up. I don't know what the first one said here, but what does this all have in common? So Facebook ads, social media, the Meet the Herd, emails, reels, newspapers, cold calls, networking was probably in there. They all work if you do. You know the average, yeah, totally, Nancy. The average touches for somebody to join what you do is like 9. I hate to tell you that, but that's the truth. And so if you put out one thing on social media and your clients don't hang on social media, and then you complain nobody signs up for my courses, well, that's on you. You have to work a group program, but being very clear on your niche gives the power to your marketing. If you know that your people are 55 plus and they, if you know your market does not watch reels on Instagram, why are you making reels on Instagram? If your people do not read the newspaper, why are you putting your ads in the newspaper? Okay, so you've got to figure out that. So yeah, big organizations, more like 20 touches. And interestingly, on the touches, it's like 9 times once they are aware you're there. So it's not you putting out 9 ads. Because if you put out 9 ads in the newspaper and your clients are on Facebook, well, they haven't even seen you. So now you put 9 in the newspaper, you got to put another 9 on Facebook because they haven't even seen you yet. Okay, but here's the thing. When you commit, when you go all in to your program, when you set your goals and you say, come hell or high water, I'm having 10 people in my program, you start to play. You start to do some Facebook ads or social media or newspaper or cold calls, or you network, or you call the local social services, or you call your friend who has a child on the autism spectrum, because that's what you want, that's where you're good at. And you ask them if there's any networking that you could help with. You find out the places that your people hang out. And so if you're doing a couple and falling off, that's the problem. That's the problem. Or it's your niche and you're lining yourself up to be working with people that aren't your people. So, there we go. Networking's showing up now. So what's the secret? What's the secret to all of this, aside from it being about you? Be consistent. So many people jump from A to Z to D, doing a little bit on a few things, throwing shit at the wall, hoping something's going to stick. We're taking people's lives into our hands. Horse-facilitated development, I said, it's the good work. It's the serious work. And, we're creating incredible lives and impact around the world. But you've got to be consistent. And so, consistency looks like, Lynn's saying, big organizations were 20 touches. Consistency is about showing up every single day, showing up consistent with your horses, consistent with your message, showing up with a message. So really quickly, 3-step passion-driven marketing strategy. And again, it's just really quickly because I couldn't get my volume to work this morning. Number 1, heard it earlier, passion on fire. If you're not passion on fire about this work and the transformation and growth that happens at your facility with your horses, and again, take transformation and growth out and call it leadership skills, whatever it is, don't even start to market, because until you find that place where you know, that people's lives are going to change by coming to you, you're not ready to start marketing. So true passion on fire doesn't look like my passion on fire. It looks like your passion on fire, and whatever that looks like. Okay. And so what excites you about horse facilitated development? What is it? What at the end of the day, because not everything about horse facilitated development excites me, especially when I work with the wrong people. Okay. Parading horses through obstacle courses with expected outcomes, like I was taught, Doesn't excite me, not one little bit. Allowing the unknown moments, allowing the horse to be the guru and step up and reflect what the human came for that I have no idea. I'm super passionate on fire about that. And I can share that all day long. So number one, before your marketing, and don't worry, I'm giving you a marketing program. What is that? So immerse yourself. Show up. As you, I mean, I'm speaking to the choir. You're here, right? Show up. We have so many of these live things going on. Share your experiences. Come with enthusiasm. Share your insights. Be passionate on fire about this work. And if you're not, find a way to. Go to other facilities. Ask other people if you can help if it's close enough. Get onto these. Read books. Gosh, I mean, my first, when I started, the Linda Kahanas and Dr. Susan Fays and the Tim Hayes, all these people were my mentors, and I just read it nonstop, listen to podcasts, whatever it was. Get passionate on fire because the stories are, they're everywhere about the magic of the horse-human connection. The genuine passion, it's always contagious. People can feel a mile away if you believe in what you do or you don't. And if you don't, stay on this step until you can get there. Number two, you got to share that passion, and here's where I've expanded number two for you. 100% immersion pays off. Be patient, don't give up. Yeah, do your own healing work, 100%. So share your passion. So many people are secret agents. They don't share their passion. They are passionate about it, and then when they get going, they don't want to share. Hey, I do horse-facilitated development. What is that? Tell you what, why don't you come out and meet my herd? Share the passion with your niche. Don't share it with people that you don't want to work with. Share it with the people that you would be bouncing down to the pasture to see. So I have a 15-step marketing strategy I'm going to get you at the end. Unfortunately, Jessica had to go. And that 15-step is going to take that write-up. Remember that write-up that we had that talked about all the features and benefits? It's going to take that write-up, and it's going to tell you every single day from a social platform how you can market your program. Anybody excited about that? Would any of you like to be able to have a 15-day, this is what you do every single day, tailor it to yourself, post it and go? Would anybody like that for no cost today? Again, this isn't a sales pitch, but this step, I always told people, just make sure you're sharing the passion and make sure you're making offers. Okay, stay to the end, and if you have to go, send me a message afterwards. I'm going to give it to you, okay? Here it is. Again, I'm going to give it to you. Don't worry, you don't have to get it off the screen. But it's going to go from every day. First day is unveiling it. The first day, you're probably going to put that whole thing in. This is what I'm launching. The next day, break it down to why you're going to use horses in your program. The next day, get a testimonial. And again, it's going to go through with action, content, goal for 15 days. Okay? So that's coming at the end. So number one, passion on fire. Number two, don't freak out at this point. Start sharing the passion. If you don't share the passion, people aren't joining your group program. I guarantee it. Okay? Number three is make the damn offer. So many people fall off on either number two or number three. They're passionate about this work, right? I mean, it's incredible work. Number two, they either don't share because they're too nervous to do, or they don't make the damn offer. And so they've got this program. So I've got Equine Insights, okay? And it comes down to it, and people start talking, but they don't make the damn offer of saying, you know what? I really think this program could be incredible for you. When would you be available for a couple minutes? Why don't we chat about it? Or why don't you come out and meet my herd, no cost, do a meet the herd, and I can tell you about the program. Whatever your offer is, you got to get in front of them, okay? So make the damn offer. Don't, so many people get caught here, and guess what? If you're not making the damn offer, you don't have a facility. You're not in business. Treat this business like a business. It'll pay you like a business. Treat it like a hobby. It'll cost you like a hobby, okay? Let that sink in. Treat it like a hobby. It'll cost you like a hobby. Nothing wrong with horses as a hobby, but you're here talking about group programs because you want to run a business, okay? So this is about authenticity. I've said that word a lot today. Your genuine passion needs to shine through. And your genuine passion doesn't need to be like mine where I'm yelling at a screen, okay? Your genuine passion looks like you, okay? So authenticity is the new currency in marketing. Vulnerability and authenticity are the new currency of marketing. So please don't take my 15 and use my wording. Make it your own, okay? So the but. We always say in horse facilitated development, we work with the but, right? Everything's going great in my life and I'm totally cool with my husband, my kids, everything's great, that's not when the horses are reflecting anything. It's the but. When they finally say, but I've lost myself. Or, but I don't know what to do next. But we work with the but. So here's the thing. We can get passion on fire. We can share the passion. We can make the damn offer. But are you committed to your program? We've gone from the beginning to the end to be able to talk about how you can do it. But the difference between the ones that do it, that's good English, do it, they find a level of commitment where it's come hell or high water, I'm doing this. I had this chat with Joanne about this the other day. Come hell or high water, are you committed? And so make some goals around your program. Set the date before you have anybody interested. Maybe you're running it for October 31st and it's, let's go back. Let's say the next full moon, I don't know what the day is, and you're going to do the full moon frenzy. Set the date today. And you know the date because you know the next full moon. Pick the day. And make a commitment on how many people you're going to have to sign up. Not have to sign up, that you're going to have sign up. So if you commit to 10, and don't commit low, if you commit to 10, come hell or high water, do everything it takes to bring in 10. Because once you prove to yourself once that you can do it, you become addicted to it. And you can do it over and over and over again. And so I had a coach once, and, I've talked about him all the time. And so I remember the first time I talked to him, and I said, okay, I'm going to, cold call this many people and do this and do that. And he said, we'll see. And I remember being so taken back, like, are you kidding me? We'll see. And he said, Tamara, you can commit to anything you want today in your framework of commitment. But he said, let's talk about what the framework of commitment is. And he said, commitment, when you start to take your life, that commitments are based on results, you start to work at an entirely different level. And so his answer of we'll see is what pushed me through that entire week. Because every excuse for every one of us is out there. It's that commitment. It's like the mom that can get the car off their child when it rolls. How do they find the superhuman strength? They're friggin' committed. They're committed because this has come hell or high water. And so make that commitment. Find a commitment partner. Call them. Tell them about your program. Find somebody on here. Shit, give me a message. I don't care. Find a commitment partner and become committed to your results. What's your program? Send them your program. Tell them the day you're starting. Tell them how many people you're going to have. And back to that list of all the things you could do, you're going to do them all in some. Because it's not about which ones work. It's about the fact that you're committed to making it work. Anybody committed? I'd love to know. What are you committed to? Are you going to do a program? How many people? I'd love to know in the chat. As I move along, would love to know. And are you willing to work your life based on commitments, based on results? I will say it's the number one shortcut that's moved me forward in my life, is making that decision that I don't commit to anything unless it's based on results. Okay, so real quickly, giveaway time's not going to be very exciting because Jess had to go. She spun the wheel, and I knew who the winner is. So the winner, everybody is going to get the 15-day marketing plan. Bev's committed. I love that, Sean. Everybody is getting the 15-day marketing plan. All you have to do, it's giving you an idea for 15 days in a row. All you have to do is put yours in there. Write up your blurb about your whole thing. You can literally do your marketing in 10 minutes a day. Okay, everybody is getting that. Don Roberts was committed. I love that. And one person is getting Equine Insight, Embracing the Journey of Change. So what that is, it's a 6-week program. If you're working with women transformation, this is probably for you. And so it's a 6-week done for you. Here you go. Everything from the actual program to social marketing, all done for you, including your actual posts. So everything, copy and paste, make it your own, as well as 10 ideas for marketing not on social. And the winner is, if she's still online, Anne. So Anne, if you're there, you have won the Equine Insight program. Please comment or reach out to me. In the meantime, all right. Oh, Anne, yeah, Anne, it was you. So reach out to me. Brand new program, hasn't even been advertised yet. So it's there. It's $149 if anybody else wants it. But Anne, reach out to me. And I saw somebody committing to something I want to talk about. There wasn't, I don't think I can get to it in my chat, but I love it. For those of you that are willing, oh, here, I'm committed to a journal. Can't see the rest of it. For October 27th. Great. Melissa, I can't see the rest of it, Melissa. Reach out to someone else. Get them that commitment. What is the journal commitment? Is it being done? Is it selling a certain number? What is it? Karen's going to plan her first group event for October. Get it down to a commitment. What is the group? Who's it for? How many people are you going to have there, etc. Okay. Yes, Anne, congratulations. Journal with horses. Love that. They're perfect. It was the Anne that was on the first half of the call because there was only one when it was drawn. So, hey, in a moment, I'm going to get you the link for the marketing plan. But if that isn't exciting enough, I would love to, if Joanne, if you're there, bring you on very, very quickly. One moment. Joanne, if you're able to unmute, if you're there.
I am here.
Okay, Joanne, real quickly, because we're over, because my phone was not working, but we have a big announcement that I'd like to bring. So I will announce it next week back by popular demand, which has come over and over and over. If you don't know Joanne Routier from Alexandra, Ontario, she is a 2-time certified horse facilitator. She is a certified grief guide with the impressive David Kessler. She runs a grief guide program. She is coming in live because I've been asked more for this program than anything in the last 6-8 months. She's coming back with a free 6 Needs of the Griever live October 1st at 9 a.m. PST. Joanne, do you have something you'd like to add to that?
Well, hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you all. And Tamara, so happy to have you back. Speaking about the relevance of understanding the actual content of what individuals need that are grieving hearts. I am going to go through the 6 steps. They're not steps, they're needs. And it is so relevant to understanding when you were facilitating anyone about a loss. So I'm excited to go and share in depth because it's been a while that I've shared it in the round pen, and I'm happy to be here and you don't want to miss it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joanne. Yes, and it's honestly these 6 steps in themselves. I mean, what I learned the first time, and you've all heard me say this, is understanding that grief is loss. And when I understood that grief is not simply loss, but it is loss, I started to realize that everyone that came to my facility was grieving in some way. And when I came from that place, I could start to facilitate from a much more compassionate place. And so it is the same Zoom number as this. So that's the 997. It's the same Zoom number as this. It is 1 week from today. However, 3 hours earlier. So different time zone. And I know we're an international company. It's really hard to keep it. So it is a different time. You will be seeing. So watch this space. Watch your emails. Hopefully on the email list. Watch the round pen. If you're not on the round pen, get on there. It's going to be a full house for sure, and it's an incredible hour of those 6 Needs of the Griever. So thank you, Joanne. So in finishing up, I promised, let me find my chat because I have promised everybody some links. So give me a moment. Make sure you get these links. So there's 3 links, and these are bonus for only those who showed up today. I got to send it to everybody in the meeting. I'm just having so many technical problems, but we made it. So the first one, Meet the Herd. Grab it. It goes over the 7 essential steps to be able to help people get into that place of understanding how horse facilitation works. It also walks you through how you can invite people out and turn them into clients every single time. There's an audio in there where I explain it all. So that's there. The second link, 15-step marketing. If you want that 15-step marketing that was just in there, take it. It's literally, you just need to figure out what it is you're marketing and tailor it for 15 days and just hit send. Make the damn offer, okay? And number 3, the 6 Needs of the Griever Zoom happening 1 week today. New energy, October 1st. Really looking forward to that with grief specialist Joanne, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'm going to stay on a moment. If you have any other questions, I'll stay on for a few minutes here. Make sure you grab those links out of the chat because they are not going into the round 10, okay? You showed up, they're there. And of course, I just realized that I'm not sure we recorded. So unless Jess did that, I guess you're lucky that you showed up live. So any questions, where do you copy them to? You just download it to your computer, Carrie. That's for you to keep. So download that to your computer. Oh, Jess had it recording. Good stuff. I'm glad because I'm not sure I'm going to do that again. Oh,